In many ways, our generation is the one with the last hand on the throttle that just pushes that throttle down. We're putting so much carbon dioxide and so much methane into the atmosphere. It's quite possible, if you think about it, that the baby boom generation itself is the single most impactful generation of mammals this planet has ever seen.
In the Anthropocene, we're changing every parameter. We're changing the geology of the planet, we're changing the chemistry of the ocean. The Anthropocene means that what happens to this planet is now in our own hands. When you take any drop off the ocean anywhere, and you look under a microscope, there's so much beauty there on this tiny scale, this miniature architecture that I never tire of looking at.
Our first speaker is Boris Worm, and he's published a number of important and controversial papers in recent years on the decline of phytoplankton.
When I give a talk on plankton, I say, first of all, let's take a breath and let's take a second breath, and then contemplate the fact that that second breath came from the ocean, because it was produced ultimately by phytoplankton, which produce half of the oxygen we breathe. We're aware that we are changing the ocean at a global scale. There's multiple human impacts ranging from fishing to climate change and acidification, implying that no part of the ocean is free from human impact.
Using satellite imagery and other data, Dr. Worm determined that we may have lost 40% of plankton production in just the last 50 years.
It's happening primarily as a consequence of climate change, and there is a lot of controversy because it's a big question. And if this plankton decline pans out to be as dramatic as we think it is, then that would be a big deal.
Your life depends on the ocean's breathing. And in fact, animals could only exist on land after plankton in the oceans had produced enough oxygen for them to live by.
We have this illusion that it's the big things in the environment that count. But if you lose the small things, everything else fails. It's like there's this incredible web where we're all connected. And if you take out one little thing, let's say like plankton, everything, the whole web collapses.
It's like having a symphony. And one by one, you just pluck each of the instruments out of the orchestra. Do your last voices there.